After the boy Arthur left Merlin's woods, he lived with old Sir Ector and his son Kay. One day he was sitting staring at a battered water pitcher made of lead when Kay happened to come across him. "What are you doing?" Kay asked. "Alchemy," Arthur replied. Kay's eyes grew wide. "We'll be rich," he said. "Show me." Arthur nodded and began to stare at the lead pitcher. Kay waited impatiently, but 15 minutes later, the pitcher was unchanged. "I think you're a fraud," Kay said. "That pitcher is still made of lead." Arthur looked unruffled. "Well, of course, it's just a reminder. I'm the one who's trying to turn to gold. Alchemy is the art of transformation. As taught by the wizards, the secrets of alchemy exist to transform mortals from a state of suffering and ignorance to a state of enlightenment and bliss. Once you accept that you are the flow of life, not just a collection of bits of physical matter, the quest for perfection becomes a quest beyond the boundless. Boundaries can be mapped, and the visible aspect of a human being can be charted as bone, muscle, and cells. But the essence, being, and love that makes up a human being has a life of its own. Until you peel away the layers of light and shadow around your soul, Merlin told Arthur, you will never realize the clear, timeless core that lies at your center. You are your own alchemist, constantly transmuting dull, lifeless molecules into the living embodiment of yourself. This is the most creative and magical act you will ever undertake. Yet the alchemist inside is invisible, and few of us ever think to find out who he or she is. The alchemist's home isn't in time and space, but in the timeless, beyond memory. Sit for a moment and examine events in your life, further and further in the past. Go back through your childhood, your infancy, and this will be pure imagination, through your existence as a fetus in the womb. Watch the fetus shrink into a ball of transparent cells, then to 2 cells, then 1, and finally cross over, and imagine yourself before that, without even a single cell to attach yourself to. As you cross this threshold, notice that your identity does not disappear. You remain what you really are, a viewing awareness that remains the same even though the scenery of your life constantly changes. This is yourself, in pure form, as life impulse. The reality you experience is a mirror image of your expectations. If you project the same images every day, your reality will be the same every day. When attention is perfect, it creates order and clarity out of chaos and confusion. After he became king, Arthur shared his experiences in the Crystal Cave with only one person, his wife Guinevere. Merlin insisted that my version of reality was an illusion, Arthur told his queen one night. Guinevere was puzzled. Yet we both see this room around us, she said. Let me show you something, Arthur said, and asked her to leave their chamber and not return until midnight. Guinevere complied, and when she returned, she found the room in complete darkness. Don't worry, Arthur's voice called. Walk toward me and describe what objects are around you, he said. The queen began walking toward Arthur, describing every detail of the room. Now look, Arthur said, as he lit a lamp. Guinevere was astonished to see that the room was entirely empty. I don't understand, she murmured. Everything you described was an expectation of what this room contains, not what was really there, Arthur explained. We walk around according to what we expect to see. Merlin said the wizard's world is the real world after the light comes on. The wizard has completely freed himself from the known. The ego is more comfortable with boundaries. Our minds generate the same images day after day, and the ego takes them to be real. These are only real in one state of consciousness, the waking state. In a dream, random firings of brain cells give rise to fleeting images. There is no proof that being awake is any different. Real mountains and fields and clouds have no testable reality outside the images that fire in your brain. Chance meetings, unexpected coincidences, premonitions that come true, all of these are shapes reality can take as it coaxes us out of our self-made prisons. If you could forget everything and anticipate nothing, you would automatically find yourself piercing the boundaries that shield you from the perception of a higher reality. You can get a taste of the unknown through a simple experiment. Blindfold yourself and sit down. Now ask a friend to put 3 foods in front of you. Take a taste of each. You will taste something new, an unexpected texture, a nuance of taste, a faint aroma that you had forgotten was there. This is the power of uncertainty. Things you think you are certain of actually have new qualities to unfold. Opening the way to uncertainty is hard for the ego to accept, yet it is the only way to pass into the wizard's world. Wizards do not grieve over loss, because the only thing that can be lost is the unreal. Lose everything, and the real will still remain. In the rubble of devastation and disaster are buried hidden treasures. When you look in the ashes, look well. As Arthur grew, he came to notice, then fear death. He and Merlin spoke of it one afternoon when he was 12. Mortals fear death because they are afraid of losing their possessions, their memories, the wizard told his pupil. But I'll tell you a secret. Nothing dies at the moment of death. Die to every moment, and you will discover the gate to unending life. In a world of change, there must be gain and loss. The cycle of birth and death becomes a matter of fear and struggle only when it becomes personal. After a lifetime of fighting to prevent loss, the ego sees dying as the ultimate defeat. To a wizard, dying means crossing over to a new kind of perception. Why do you think life and death can't coexist? The wizard admonished Arthur. Discovering a state of timeless knowing is what death opens up. If you're fortunate to make the discovery early, before dropping your body, so much the better. There is a pattern of gain and loss that runs throughout your own life. Moving from childhood to adolescence is the loss from one perspective and a gain from another. Getting married represents the loss of single life and the gain of a partner. However, the ego gets attached to certain energy forms that it doesn't want to see dissolved. A lump of money, a house, or a relationship. The ego's struggle to preserve the familiar is in opposition to life because it seeks to impose artificial life. When you can begin to see the seeds of opportunity in the ashes of disaster, then trust in the universe is beginning to grow. To the extent you know love, you become love. Love is more than an emotion. It is a force of nature, and therefore must contain truth. When you say the word love, you may catch the feeling, but the essence cannot be spoken. The purest love lies where it is least expected, in unattachment.